I think one of the big problems in today's world is all the kids, they just don't have the information. No one's told them. They're taught all these things in school and they just blindly accept it. And it's not that they haven't heard both sides. They haven't heard, you could say, the logical side of it. All they've heard is what they've been force-fed in school. And I think we need to get the information out to some of these other kids so they can at least know what is happening.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I was homeschooled. I went to kindergarten. That was the only like public school experience that I've had. And obviously I've been to public schools to see what's happening, and I've spoken at school board meetings to expose what's going on in public schools. But I mean, the educational system, the public school, what we're seeing with public schools, I mean, they're working directly against parents. They're working directly against the child's best interest. I mean, with all of these ideologies, I mean, really from the age of like 5 years old to 18 years old, if you're sending your kid off to state-sponsored school, public school, I mean, they're going to have a full-time job from age 5 to 18. So you're going to send them off to school from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Then they come home and do more homework. And then if they have sports, they have sports. So, I mean, this is a very, if you think about it, it's like, wow, like this is how much time kids are spending away from their parents. This is how much time they're being influenced by the government over the parents. And so I think once you understand that this is a very strategic agenda from multiple levels with ideologies like critical race theory, gender ideology, the feminist movement, once you start to wake up to that, I think it's very eye-opening, especially for parents. So many parents right now, we're seeing like a homeschool revolution kind of. So many parents just homeschooling their kids because they're recognizing that there's really no benefit to sending your kids to public school. You can try to use, any argument of, oh, they'll be, be able to be socialized. But I'll be honest, like that's,
Are they
I've
going to
learned,
be are they going to be socialized or socialist?
yeah, yeah, there
I
you
just
go.
love that. Yeah, and we've talked about this a lot before, but really I don't think you can do a whole lot worse than public school is doing. So, and you were absolutely right. There is a bit of a homeschool revolution going on, especially after COVID. So many more people are homeschooling. You mentioned you were homeschooled for a lot longer than that, and my brother and I have been homeschooled all our lives, at least up. I graduated high school a year ago, and now I'm in college, which not homeschooled for that, and I'm disappointed about it. That being said, how was your homeschooling experience, and how would you recommend that to other people? What would you say to people that think it would be too difficult?
Yeah, well, I mean, anything that you're passionate about or you care about doing, you'll make time for. And I know so many parents that they're living off one income, make less than $50,000 a year, and are still homeschooling their 4, 5, 6 children. So if they can do it, anybody can do it in America. But as it pertains to homeschooling, the benefits, that's right. The benefits of homeschooling. I raced motocross. I traveled the country for several years with my family racing motocross. I would not have been able to do that if I weren't homeschooled. Being able to do what I'm doing now, would not be able to do this if I weren't homeschooled. But I also think this is where it starts with the parents just taking the initiative to homeschool their children. And also, you see all these statistics of kids going off to college and completely losing their entire moral compass, whether that's getting into drugs or just failing, getting bad grades, or completely turning the other side and adopting into the woke ideologies and turning liberal or whatever it may be, just completely losing morality, their moral compass. And I think it's because parents, before they went off to college, didn't explain to them the why behind the what they believe in. And so once you start talking to your kids about, okay, well, why are we pro-life as a family? Why are we Christians? Why do we believe that children shouldn't be cutting off their healthy breasts and genitals? Why are we Republicans? Why are we voting? Things like that. Actually teaching your kids the why behind what you believe in. So I think that's so important for parents, as you're homeschooling your children to do. And also, another benefit of homeschooling is your kids get to see you as the parent interact with other adults. And in a school setting, like a public school setting, your kids don't have the opportunity to do that. And it kind of allows them to just mature and grow up a lot faster than they ever could have in public schools. So, I mean, there's so many benefits. The pros outweigh the cons of homeschooling. Tremendously. So if for all of your listeners that aren't homeschooling yet, now's the time. Just go ahead and do it. I mean, if you don't do it now, when are you going to do it? So I couldn't recommend homeschooling more.
And you're teaching your kids how to think, not just what to
Yeah.
think. Teach them how to think for themselves, how to be logical and use common sense. By the way, Hannah, what happened to all our common sense? Because, well, common sense isn't very common anymore.
No, you're exactly right. I think it all starts with, first we've rejected God as a nation. As a people, we've completely forgotten where our blessings come from as a country. I mean, our country is a nation founded on Judeo-Christian principles and values. I mean, John Adams said that our Constitution was created for a moral and religious people. It's wholly inadequate to the government of any other. I mean, 26% of political quotes in our Constitution are directly from Scripture. So our country
Wow.
is a nation founded on Christian principles, and we're not a theocracy. There is no freedom within a theocracy like Iran or Saudi Arabia. There's no freedom there. It's just control and power. But in
What?
America, this has kind of been the great experiment, right? And so
Yeah.
we've gone so far away, gotten so far away from what our founders intended this nation to be. And I believe that started when we began removing God from homes. So we started removing
What?
God at the center of homes. And then we removed prayer from school in the 1960s. And then, so it just went so forth. And so this stuff that we're seeing, this gender ideology, kids confused on whether they're male or female, and men going into women's bathrooms, and now senators and representatives telling us that pedophilia is not a crime, it's an identity. This didn't just happen overnight. This has been a repeat of history. Ultimately, you will repeat your history if you forget it. And that's what we're seeing. I mean, this stuff has been played out under the scenes for, the last century at least. I mean, you look at Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood. This stuff started in the early 1900s. And her ideas came, way before that. So this stuff is, what it comes down to is we of this nation have rejected God, we've rejected common sense moral standards. And if we got a victory for President Trump this past Tuesday, which is incredible. But if we really want to take back our country, we're going to have to get back to what made this country great in the first place.
Hannah Faulkner is a 17-year-old patriot and public speaker traveling the country speaking the truth on the issues surrounding us to thousands of patriots. She is the host of The Hannah Faulkner Show and founder of Culture of 1776, with the mission of igniting the next generation to be bold in a world that has rejected common sense. She has also spoken with Mike Lindell and other people that are fighting for freedom on the Reawaken America tour.